Hello, welcome to Dragonmount DIY. I am Maureen or Mashiara. Thank you so much for this Saturday morning. We are going to be showing how to make a super cute bun hugger is what I'm calling them. So they are these super adorable. You can see I have them in my own hair. Super adorable little bun covers. And it's really fun to make them because I've made several for lots of different occasions. For example, New Year's Eve, we did one for Groundhog's Day, Valentine's Day, etc. So it's been great learning how to do these. So as I said, I'm Maureen or Mashiara. I've been a longtime member, longtime content creator for Dragonmount. You might remember me from What If, was an weekly article we had back when Brian and Sanderson first took over, finishing the books, and we got to speculate and talk about new and upcoming things. And it was just such a lovely time when we had new material to look forward to. And so I'm super excited about that now because with the TV show, there's still so many things we can talk about, so many things we can speculate about. And it's just so fulfilling to do that. And so I am part of the Dragonmount podcast with Kathy Campbell and Rajiv Mote. So definitely check that out if you want to hear us talk about the series. And there is a little bit at the end where we do talk about book spoilers, but mostly it's for people who are just watching the TV show. You don't have to be a book reader to listen to the podcast. So I'm going to go ahead and start showing what you need for today's tutorial. Let's go ahead and flip over. There we go. All right. So first, I'm going to suggest a 5 or 5.5 millimeter hook. I'm going to use the 5.5 millimeter because my tension is very tight, and this is what I need. Most everybody else, if you're a typical crocheter, you can just use the 5. And you're also going to need a needle. You could use stitch markers. I'm not going to use stitch markers. I don't need them, but definitely use them if you need to. You'll need 2 1-inch hair ties, and then you'll need the 7 colors of the ajahs. Okay, so you can see it's the canon order of the colors of the Amarlin stole, the ajahs all together. We're going to start with blue, then green, white, brown, gray, yellow, and then end with red. So for mine, I'm going to be using Premier Basix. It's a worsted weight, so a size 4. They do recommend a 5.5, but again, I think most every crocheter should be fine with a 5. Okay, and these are the colors I'm going to be using. So I'm using the azure blue. And then for yellow, I'm going to be using lemon. It's really nice, soft yellow. Can you focus? No? Sorry, I can't get it to focus. But that color is lemon for the yellow, nice and soft. Light yellow. For red, I have cherry red. And then for green, I picked this dark green juniper. In my original, you can see I used a lighter green, but I think this darker green just gives it a little bit more depth. And then for brown, I picked mahogany. And then for the gray, this color is steel. I did use this last time when we did our filet crochet, the flame and the fang. Yeah, and then the last one, instead of white, I did pick a cream color. I think it's going to go a little bit better with the colors I have, just something slightly off white. So when you're doing this, you don't need a ton of yarn. It's actually, you need about a little bit more than 2 yards. And so I will show you exactly how much I picked, because you can see I've got my tiny little pieces here. And that's a little bit easier using tiny little pieces of yarn, because then you don't have to worry about having the whole skein. And when we start switching colors, the threads can get mixed up, and this will help with that a lot. So let me flip back over to this and we can see how we do it. Okay, so using just one skein, all you have to do is pull it out. And then I just do a yard, so about the length of your arms once, and then the length of your arms twice, and then a little bit more just to be safe. And that's all the string you need in each of the 7 colors. And so again, I'm doing the Ajah colors, but if you just want to do a typical tie-dye, you can do these any colors you want. And if you're interested in only doing one color bun hugger, I do have patterns for that as well. Okay, so there's my white, and let's flip back over. All right, so now I have all my 7 colors. We're ready to go. All right, if you're just joining us, thank you so much for being here. I'm super excited to be doing this pattern. It is a little bit challenging, I'd say intermediate or adventurous advanced beginner. It does require switching through the 7 colors. And then also we will be crocheting around a hair tie. This can be a little bit tricky just to get the stitches around there. So yes, advanced beginner, adventurous advanced beginner, or an intermediate style or type of pattern. So we're going to start with blue because blue is on the outside edge of the ombrelin stole, and then we're going to circle in. So we're going to start with blue, and that's what we're going to do our magic circle with. So I'm going to start just by grabbing one piece of my yarn, and I'm just going to let it fall to the floor. All my yarns are going to get all mixed up. And you really do feel like an Aes Sedai when you're doing this pattern because you are using multiple weaves at once, multiple threads, and lots of different colors. So it definitely feels very Aes Sedai-like to me. So we're going to start with a magic circle. If you don't know how to do the magic circle, I'll show you real slow how to do it. But you can also use the chain 2 method. So if that's something you're familiar with, the chain 2 method, you can use that as well. So when I do a slip knot, I go from the back to the front and do it like that. And then so when I'm doing a magic circle, I do the opposite. I go from the back to the front. And that's how I can keep them separate. So I like to do a double magic circle. So I'll show you one more time. I'm going from the back to the front, and I'm going to work it around 3 times. So I have 3 loops on my fingers. Sorry, let me hold it up closer. You go under the first 2, and you have to grab the 3rd one. You stretch it back like it's a bow and arrow, and then you scoop it up like it's ice cream. And then the working yarn right here, which is by my ring finger, all we need to do is chain 1. Okay, and that gives us a double magic circle. Okay, with a double magic circle, it does not come undone. It is like iron. It's unbreakable. So this is really good for these types of projects because it's not going to come undone in the middle and undo all of our 7 different weaves. All right, so we're going to start with 1 half double crochet with blue. So for half double crochet, we yarn over, go into the circle, come out, yarn over, and pull through all 3. Okay, here's where it gets tricky. We're going to do a color change. So I'm going to pull out that loop. This is where you could use a stitch marker if you want to hold it. I don't need it. I just draw a big loop and I'm fine with it. But definitely, if you think it's going to come undone, use that stitch marker. All right. Oh my God, sorry. Everything is a little too close. There we go. So now I need to switch to green. Green's the next color. So I'm going to push this off to the side. Everything's over here. And I'm going to grab my green yarn. And I'm going to attach it to my hook with a slip stitch. Sorry, a slip knot. Okay, so for slip knot, getting it on my hook. Okay, and I'm going to attach it to the magic circle. So I'm going to go into the magic circle, grab the yarn, come out, and slip stitch. Okay, so now I have my green attached to the blue magic circle. I'm going to do a half double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over, go into the loop, grab the yarn, come out, yarn over, pull through all 3. Okay, I'm going to pull that up, make a nice big loop. Okay, now you can see I have my blue and I have my green, both attached. Okay, now what I'm going to do to solidify this a little bit more is I'm going back to the blue. Where's my yarn? There it is. All right, so I'm putting my blue loop back on my hook, and I'm going to do a half double crochet increase into that green stitch. So I'm going to do one half double crochet into that green stitch, and I'm going to do another half double crochet into that green stitch. Okay, so that's my first round and my second round with blue. Okay, I'm going to pull that out. Okay, again, we can press these closer together. Right, so here's my first stitch of green, here's my first stitch of blue, and my second stitches with blue. Round one, round two. Okay, after green, we're going to move to the white. So I'm going to push these all off to the side. Okay, so you can see a jumble of weaves, a jumble of threads, definitely Aes Sedai powers. So I'm going to grab my white. I'm going to do the same exact thing. I'm going to just do a slip knot, put it on my hook. Right, and then I'm going to slip stitch onto this magic circle. Okay, now I'm going to do a single half double crochet into the magic circle, just like that. Okay, I'm going to pull out that thread, make a nice big loop, and now I'm going to go back to my green and do the same thing I did with the blue. Okay, I'm going to do two half double crochets into that white stitch. Okay, so this is a half double crochet increase. Okay, pull that out, squish those closer together. So now you can see here's our blue stitch, our green stitch, and our white stitch. That's for round one. Now I have my 2 stitches for the blue stitch in round 2 and 2 stitches for the green stitch in round 2. Okay, so we're making this curve where we're building kind of like a staircase on top of the other color. Okay, after white, we get brown. So I'm going to push these off to the side. Grab my brown yarn. Okay, I'm going to slip stitch. Sorry, I'm going to do a slip knot with the brown, and I'm going to slip stitch onto the magic circle. Okay, and then the same as before, I'm going to do a half double crochet into the magic circle. Okay, then I'll pull out that loop nice and big, scooch these closer, go back to the white, and I'm going to do the white 2 half double crochet increase. Oh my gosh, sorry. I'm going to do the white half double crochet increase into this brown. 1 and 2. Okay, I'm going to pull out a big loop, push these down again, put all my threads over here. All right, so now there's our one of blue, one of green, one of white, one of brown. Okay, and I have my 2 blues, my 2 greens, my 2 whites for my second round. Okay, so we're completing round 1 and round 2 at the same time. Very adventurous. So now that we're done with brown, we're going to move on to gray. And as I said, it is definitely easier if you do this with tiny little bits of yarn. A little bit more than 2 yards is good so that they don't get super tangled. They're going to be a little bit tangled, but nothing we can't handle. All right, I slip knot onto the hook, and I'm going to slip stitch onto the magic circle. Okay, we're going to do a half double crochet into the magic circle. Okay, and I'm going to pull out a big loop for the gray. There we go. I'm going to go back to the brown. Okay, and I'm going to get closer, and I'm going to do 2 half double crochets into the gray. There's 1. And there's 2. Okay, pull it out. Here we go, big old loop. Move all my threads to one side. Ooh, okay, so it's looking like this. So 1 blue, 1 green, 1 white, 1 brown, 1 gray. Then I also have 2 blues, 2 greens, 2 white, 2 browns. Okay, we just have 2 more colors to add, and then it will get easier from here, I promise. All right, so now what we're going to do is we're adding the yellow. And we're going to put yellow on our hook. With a slip knot. Okay, and then I'm going to slip stitch onto the magic circle. We're going to do a half double crochet into the magic circle. And then pull a big loop. Switch those down. Okay, I'm going back to the gray. And I'm going to do 2 half double crochets into this yellow. 1 and 2. Okay, I'm going to pull that out. Scooch all our threads this way. Okay, we're getting there, we're getting there. So we've got our blue, our green, our white, our brown, our gray, our yellow for the round 1. And then for round 2, 2 blue, 2 green, 2 white, 2 brown, 2 gray. And we'll do our 2 yellow on the red next. Okay, last color we need to add. We're almost there. This is probably the trickiest part, other than attaching the hair tie. Okay, slip knot onto your hook with the red, and we're going to slip stitch into the magic circle. Okay, we're going to do 1 half double crochet into the magic circle. Pull that red, slide those down, and now we're going to go back to the yellow. Okay, and we're going to do 2 half double crochets into that red stitch. Okay, pull that up. All right. So we've attached all of our colors. So now what we're going to do is we need to close the magic circle before we do our second row of reds. So when we have a double magic circle, we're going to slide all the stitches close together, and we're going to find our end of the tail of the blue. Sorry, let me scooch up a little bit. See a little bit better. All right. So what we do is we need to pull the tail of the blue just a little bit to see which one of those loops moves. Okay, so that loop moved. So we're going to grab that loop, and we're going to pull it the opposite way to close the first loop. Okay, you got to pull it nice and tight. Now we can pull the tail to close the other loop. Okay, and that is amazingly tight. It's not going to come undone. All right, now we're going to go back to our red. And we're going to do our 2 half double crochets into the first blue stitch. This is our increase in the first blue stitch. All right, there we go. So that's round 1 and round 2. Looks like a mess, but I promise it'll turn out super, super cute. All right, now we're moving on to round 3. If you've ever done amigurumi, this is the same repeat increase. So we did 7 single crochets in the first round, and then we doubled it in the second, so that's 14. And so we're just doing multiples of 7. So what we're going to do now with red, because red's currently on our hook, we're going to do 1 single crochet in the blue, and then a double crochet in the blue, and then a double crochet increase in the next stitch. Okay, so there's my swirl of red. pull that out. Move on to blue. Okay, we're going to do the same thing. Half double crochet in the first green stitch, half double crochet increase in the second green stitch. Okay, and that's my blue swirl. See, already it's looking really cool. Hey, if you're just joining us, welcome. Thank you for spending time with me on Saturday. These are called the Bun Huggers, but they are ajah inspired. You can tell it's the Amerlin stole or the ajah colors. The Tar Valon flag also has the same design in the middle. But you don't have to do the ajah colors. You could do any colors and it would be just as cute. All right, now I'm switching to green. And I'm going to do a single half double crochet into the first white stitch. And then a half double crochet increase into the second stitch. If you're an adventurous beginner and you're trying this is going to give you an amazing amount of confidence because it is pretty tricky. And if you could do this, a lot of other patterns are going to be like easy peasy. Okay, so there we have our swirl of red, of blue, of green, looking pretty good. So now we're going to move on to white. And with the white, we're going to do a single half double. Sorry, one half double crochet in the first brown stitch, and then a half double increase in the second brown stitch. Right, like that so far. I just absolutely love the swirl pattern. It is so, so cool. Okay, switching over to brown. We're going to do a half double crochet in the first gray stitch, and a half double crochet increase in the second gray stitch. Okay, and that's our brown swirl. Moving on to gray. One half double crochet in the first yellow stitch, and a half double crochet increase in the second yellow stitch. That's our gray swirl. Right, and since we began this round on red, we're going to end this round on yellow. So you can see we kind of start and end on a different color each time. Because we're going to end on yellow, but then we can start the next row with yellow since it's already on our hook. Okay, so we're just going to do a single half double crochet into the first red stitch, and then a half double crochet increase into the second stitch. Right, and that's the end of round 3. There, looking so cool. I absolutely love it. Okay, and so that's as wide as it needs to be for my bun hugger. Let me show you just one more time. So my hair is about this long, and it's kind of thick. So I can fit half of my bun in one that's, oh, sorry, what camera? That way go, this one. So this is about the right size for me, but you could increase it more. You can make it bigger just by following that same pattern for any amigurumi or hat or beanie or whatever. So before we get on to the next round, I want to tie off our tails. So let me pull out that yellow. So in the middle, we have all of our tails. Okay? That's the end of our colors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull each one really tight just so that they're secure. And we're going to tie these off so we don't have to deal with them anymore. All right, so I tightened each one. And since this is going to be on the inside of the bun hugger, no one's going to see this. All I need to do is tie this in a knot. Sorry, let me try that one more time. And push it as close to that start as I can. Okay. Okay, there we go. And now I can trim this off and it's going to be just fine. Okay, that'll be on the inside. So it's not going to affect your bun hugger at all. It's just going to sit there on top. Okay, and now we don't have to worry about those. All right, we're getting ready to move on to round 3. Okay, so remember we ended with yellow. So now we're going to start with yellow. Okay, for round 3, all we need to do is a half double crochet in each of those stitches. So 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet. Okay, and we're going to move on to red. Do 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet. Move on to the blue. Okay, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet. Move on to the green. Okay, so you find an easy rhythm to this once you get going. Okay, the first couple rows are difficult just because your threads are so close to each other. You're juggling so many at once, but now there's a big enough gap between them. It's not so bad. 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet. With green, switch to white. One half double, oops, crochet. 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet. Moving on to the brown. One half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, half double crochet. Okay, and then the gray is our last of this round. Remember, we started with yellow, so we'll end with gray. Each row is going to start and end with a different color. Okay, so we just need to put 1 half double crochet in the first 3 stitches to complete this row. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so the swirl's starting to look pretty cool, manageable. Okay, so now that we're not increasing, it's going to start forming the edges. Okay, so we're going to start doing this side where it just gets like a sides of a ball. Just going to go straight down. So we're going to do exactly what we just did. We are ended with gray, so we're going to start with gray. And we're just going to do 3 half double crochets, 1 in each stitch of the other color. So 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet with gray. Switch to the yellow. One half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet. Move to red. One half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet. Moving on to blue. One half double crochet, 1 half double crochet, 1 half double crochet. Next is green. this half double crochets in each stitch all the way around till we get back to brown is where we're going to stop this round. Moving on to the white. And this is our last color change of this round. Just going to do a half double crochet in the first 3 gray stitches. Okay, you can see it's starting to fold down, making the sides of the bun hugger. Okay, we're going to do that one more time. Okay, so we're going to do half double crochet in the 3 stitches of the next color. So starting with I'm going to do 3 half double crochets. Okay, switching to the gray. Oops. 3 half double crochets. Now with the yellow, 3 half double crochets. With the red, 3 half double crochets. So in my real life, I am a 4th grade math teacher. So repeating directions over and over and over and over is what I do for a living. So I can say 1 half double crochet a million times and be just fine. So I think that's why I have a habit of saying every single thing I'm doing. It just helps with 4th graders and math retention. So it's my last half double crochet with the blue. Let's move on to green. Three half double crochets with green. Oops. Okay, moving on to the white, okay, which is our last stitch of this round. 3 half double crochets into the brown stitches. That's 2 and that's 3. All right, there we go. So now we can see we've got the edges. It'll be just thick enough to hold this type of bun. Okay, so a small to medium space bun will be held in this. If your space buns are thicker or longer or bigger, you could keep going down to make it bigger, and you can keep increasing to make it wider. So this is really an easy pattern to manipulate. All right, so now we're moving on to the next hardest part, which is how we crochet around a hair tie. All right, so you can see my hair tie is like half the width of my, oh, sorry, I'm not in the middle, half the width of my bun hugger. So it is going to gather quite a bit around this. Okay, that makes it a little bit tricky to do, but sometimes it's just trial and error. Again, this goes back to my math training. If at first you don't get it, you try again. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take that hair tie and we're going to hold it next to the stitches. So when I'm doing my next stitch, I'm going to go through that blue loop and then also through that hair tie. So for this round, we're only going to do single crochets. So I'm going to do a single crochet into the brown loops. Make sure I go into that hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, and single crochet. Go into the brown loops, through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete my single crochet. Last one with white, go through the brown, go through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Okay, now we're going to move on to the brown. All right, there we go. We want the hair tie to stay on the inside. Don't let it switch to the outside. All right, so now with brown, same thing. We're going to do a single crochet in the next 3 stitches. We're going to go through the gray stitch, through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Go through the gray, through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Okay, last time, go through the gray, go through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete your single crochet. Okay, moving on to the gray. Let's get that brown guy out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to go through the yellow, go through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Go through the yellow, go through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Okay, go through the yellow, through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Okay, and you can see already it's starting to gather quite a bit. I don't have a lot of room left on my hair tie. Okay, let's switch to yellow. All right, so how can we get this crocheted over the next few stitches is we can push the stitches together and just really grab and stretch that elastic band. Okay, so that's gave me a lot more room. All right, so now I'm going to go through the red stitches, go through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet, through the red, through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Okay, go through the red, go through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, and complete your single crochet. And moving on to the red. Okay, and we're just going to push those down, stretch out that elastic band. Okay, we're going to go through the blue, through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Go through the blue, go through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Go through the blue, go through the hair tie, come out, grab the yarn, come out, and complete your single crochet. Okay, now let's move on to the blue. And so these weaves, threads are getting a little bit tangled, but they're manageable because they're not very long. So you can see if you look down at I got kind of a jumbled mess, but since they're short, I can pull them without any difficulty. All right, so we're going to scooch those stitches down, pull that elastic hair tie. Okay. I'm going to go into the green, go in through the green, go in through the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet, into the green, into the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet, into the green, into the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Okay, moving on to green. Okay, stretch out that hair tie. Okay, we're going to go into the white, under the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Into the white, into the hair tie, grab the yarn, come out, complete the single crochet. Into the white, into the hair tie, out, complete the single crochet. All right, and that was the end of our elastic round. Okay, so let me just pull this out so we can spot check what it looks like. All right, so here's our top. It's nice and circular. Okay, and here's our edge. It was about 3 rows we did going down. And then it's going to gather down here at that hair tie. Okay, looks like a jellyfish right now. That's okay. All right, so we ended with the green. We're going to start with the green. Okay, now we're going to move on to the brim. So it's very similar to a hat where it has this brim. You don't have to do a brim, I guess, but it helps me with my hair because you can stretch it to get it over the bun. If you just want to end it there, I mean, I guess you could. But I think the brim is kind of cute. I like that it gives me a little bit of some wiggle room with pulling it and stretching it, getting it on there. So for the brim, we're going to do front loop only. Okay, that's going to make the stitches come out straight, come out this way instead of going down. So let's get our threads out of the way as much as possible. Okay, so now I'm on green. So I'm going to change just to get some height. And I'm going to do a front loop double crochet in that same spot. Okay, I'm going to do a front loop double crochet in the next stitch. Front loop double crochet in the next stitch. And a front loop double crochet in that last stitch. Okay, so I just did 4 half double crochets with the green. Okay, and I'm almost all done with the green. I'll be able to tie it off in just 1 second. So our thread count's going down now. I'm gonna cut some of these off. So I'm moving on to white. And I'm going to do that exact same thing. I'm going to chain 2. And I'm going to do a front loop front loop double crochet in that same stitch. Okay, and then a front loop double crochet in the next stitch. A front loop double crochet in the next stitch. And then a front loop double crochet in that last brown stitch. All right, so that's going to give us our brim. So now that we have this white done, I can go back to the green and finish this. So I'm going to slip stitch into that first double crochet. And I'm done. I can chain 2 and tie it off. So I like to do a chain 2 because it makes the knot a little bit stronger. That's not going to come undone. Okay, and then you can see our green's all done. No more green. Okay, and this is about the amount of green I had left. So that 2 armfuls and a little bit more. This is that little bit more just in case. All right, so we did our white. Now we're moving on to the brown. Okay, so we're going to chain 2. And we're going to do a front loop only, double crochet in that same stitch. Okay, then a front loop only double crochet in the next stitch. Front loop only double crochet in the next stitch. And a front loop only double crochet in that last gray stitch. Okay, now we're going to jump back to the white. Finish this one off. Slip stitch to that first double crochet in brown. Chain 2. And we can cut the yarn. I don't know how I did it before. Never struggled with this, but all of a sudden now I can't remember. Okay, chain 2, pull it through, and then we just tighten that knot, and it's a double knot and it's super tight. Okay, we will weave these in later, but that gives it a nice, not going to come out finish. All right, and the amount of white I had left, okay, a little bit extra. Moving on to the brown. Oh no, we finished the brown. Moving on to the gray. All right, chain 2. Front loop double crochet in that same yellow stitch. Okay, front loop double crochet in the next stitch. Front loop double crochet in the next stitch. And then front loop double crochet in that last yellow stitch. Let's go back to the brown, finish it off. Slip stitch in that first gray double crochet. Chain 2, something like that. Okay, pull it through, and then we're just going to tighten this, slide it down, get a nice double knot. Okay, went down the gray. Let's go to the yellow next. Okay, so I'm going to chain 2. Front loop double crochet in that same stitch. You can see it's getting a little tight. That's because the hair tie makes that row extra tight. You just pull it back a little bit, give you some wiggle room. Okay, half double crochet in the next front loop only. Double crochet in the next front loop only. And then double crochet in that last red front loop only. Okay, go back to the gray. We can finish that one off. And we're going to slip stitch into that first yellow stitch. Chain 2. Cut the yarn. Pull it through. And then we just tighten that double knot. Okay, beautiful. Which one did I just finish? Oh, did I not pull out my brown? Where's the brown? All right, there's my little bit left over for the brown, and then here's my little bit left over for the gray. Okay, so really minimal waste on this. All right, we're done with yellow. Let's go to the red. Chain 2. Front loop double crochet in that same blue stitch. Okay, double crochet front loop only in the next stitch. Front loop only double crochet in the next stitch. And then front loop only double crochet in that last blue stitch. Let's go back to the yellow, finish it off. Our tangle of yarn is getting smaller and smaller, so that's good. Slip stitch that first red stitch, chain 2, and tie off. Slide that double knot all the way down. It's very, very strong. Okay, now the next one we have is the blue. All right, so we're going to chain 2. We're going to half double crochet in that same green stitch. Okay, half double crochet in the next front loop only. Half double crochet in the next front loop only. Okay, we're going to double crochet in that last stitch right there. Okay, and since our green row is already done, we can just slip stitch into that first green stitch. Chain 2. Cut the yarn. Through, tighten that. Double knot. Okay, and then finally go back to the red. Slip stitch into that first stitch. Chain 2. And we're done. Okay, so there's a little bit of red I had left, not very much of that one. A little bit of blue I had left, and then a tiny little bit of yellow. All right, and there we go. So now we have our absolutely beautiful little bun hugger. So this would fit, again, probably about a small to medium bun, space bun. When you're weaving in the ends, I don't know if we want to do that or not. How are we on time? 50 minutes. I guess we can do that real quick. All right, so let's go ahead and weave in the ends. We can have a completely finished product. So you just take the yarn, put it through your needle. So the way I like to do it is I go down the back of that very first stitch. So you could just go straight down underneath it until I get to this row of double crochets that we did around the brim. Just go underneath them. Okay, so you can see it's not through the front, it's not coming through the back, those stitches. Okay, now I'm going to go underneath these blue stitches that were the half double crochets. And I'm going to end by going underneath the hair tie as well. Okay, that knot was really secure, so we don't need to secure it more. We're just mostly hiding the thread. Okay, so I went underneath the blue, and then underneath the hair tie. And I'm going to do the same for all these colors. I'm going to go through the red, then through these stitches, and through these red stitches, and then underneath the hair tie. You can just trim it right there. Now we can do the yellow. Through that first stitch, go, and then underneath those underneath those double crochets of the brim, and then underneath the half doubles of that first rounds, and then underneath the hair tie. Okay. Next we got gray. A little hard to see, I think, on this gray mat. Through the stitches, through the double crochets, through the double crochets, and then underneath that hair tie. Almost done. Through the stitch, through the double crochets, through the half double crochets, and then underneath that hair tie. Okay, almost all done. Just two more, hang in there. Go through that stitch, through the through the double crochets, through the half doubles, and underneath that hair tie. All right, last one, this green one. Through that stitch, through the double crochets, through the half doubles, and then underneath that hair tie. And that's it. All right, so there you have the whole entire thing. Cute little swirl on top, beautiful swirls on the side, and the cute little brim all finished off, and you have that cute little top knot in the middle, but no one's going to see that. Beautiful. Awesome. String flame, you're gonna stay. Oh no, you'll have to watch later. Okay. That's too bad. That's okay. So I think I'm gonna do one more. So if you feel like staying with me, chatting a little bit, we do have some new Wheel Time TV show content we can discuss a little bit if we're so inclined. I'm gonna grab my yarn and make my yarn balls once more. Okay, so again, if you're doing this, let me flip back over to, there we go. So if you want to do the almost perfect amount of yarn, all you need to do is take the end of the skein, stretch it out across your arm span once and twice, and then just do a little bit more. And then we're going to go ahead and roll that up into a little mini ball. Okay, and I am using Premier Basix yarn. It's incredibly soft, incredibly easy to work with. I just adore this yarn. The white color I used was cream. Guess I can grab it again. All right, this one was cream. Oh, I can't see it because I'm not on that screen. Cream. Okay, and just a nice complementary color instead of pure white to these. Some of them are kind of bold. Right, and then let's see, next I've got, for yellow, I'm going to use lemon. So again, I'm just going to grab the yarn, stretch it out my arm span once, twice, and a little bit more. So just a little bit more than 2 yards, probably a yard and a third. So what is that? 7 feet total. Okay, wrap it up into a little ball. And then for red, I am doing cherry red. I think a nice like dark red burgundy would also be good with this, but I like that this one pops a little bit. It's not like the super bright red as well. So I think this was a good medium, good happy medium. So arm length once, arm length twice, and a little bit more. Okay, we're gonna roll this up. Okay, I bet you I can do the next one faster. And then for gray, we did the color steel. It's like a darker gray. Like gray would be fine too. It's steel. Here's the pull. There it is. Okay, so 1 arm length, 2, and oops, that was way more than a little bit. So way more on the gray accidentally. And we're gonna roll that up into a ball, like a little tube of yarn. For blue, I used azure. So I really just love this blue. This is a beautiful blue, probably my all-time favorite color of blue. It's very nice. And we could even do these with different shades of a specific color to make ajah specific ones. Okay, arm length once, arm length twice, and a little bit more. So if you do like a dark red, a burgundy, lighter pink maybe, I don't know. Would Red Sisters wear pink? I think if Red Sisters wore pink, I would be a Red Sister because I would love to wear pink shawl. Oh my God, that sounds amazing. I would love to have a pink shawl. Maybe that's what I'm gonna have to do next, is how to do a crochet shawl that's pink. Okay, for brown, I used mahogany. Again, this like really dark chocolatey brown. I just love it. I think these colors just really mesh together very well. Sorry, I don't know how to make it. Here we go. Just have to go really close. Mahogany. Okay. Premier Basix. Absolutely wonderful yarn. So we're gonna take an arm length once, arm length twice, and a little bit more. Roll it up into a yarn tube. I think this is probably like the 5th set of these I've made. So, the more you work with a pattern, the easier it gets. So if you try it once and it's a little bit intimidating, try it again. It's a little less intimidating the second time. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't show my color. Sorry. This one is called Juniper. Okay, so again, really just dark green. I think this one I used a brighter green. And I think this darker green's nicer. Just not so bold, not so bright, just dark and beautiful. All right, so 1 arm length, 2 arm lengths, and a little bit more for the green, and that's 7. And I just tangled it, sorry. All right, so we're going to start the same exact way, the same order. You could really do it in any order, and you don't even have to do this, canon color. This is just the way I think it's portrayed in the graphic novel. I did look at the pictures of the Amerlin stole, in season 1 when Suan is wearing her golden suit, but it's got the hints of the stole on the collar. I tried to see if I can make out the details of that one, but the colors were just too subtle. I couldn't tell which one was which. But I bet you it's pretty close to this layout. All right, so again, we're going to start right there in the middle with that really amazing swirl. Oh, I just love it so much. It would be fun to do with other colors too, so maybe I'll experiment with shades of red, shades of blue. I guess shades of white would be kind of dull, but we could do it. If you wanted to do less, you'd probably want to do 4 and then just do 2 stitches of each. Or if you wanted to add the black maybe and do 8, that would work too. You wouldn't have to change it to add 1 more. Yeah, I don't think I want to add black, but that would be fun to do sometime, add a black to it. All right, so I am going to start with blue. Blue is the first color. Okay, so again, I'm going to be using a 5.5 hook. I'm using Clover brand just because they're really nice. They have very smooth flow. But with this Basix yarn, I think even the cheap hook's going to be fine. This yarn is just absolutely amazing. Any other crocheter, I would suggest a 5. My tension's really tight. I'm a very tense person, so my tension when I crochet is super tight. I don't know if you notice, but like my grip on the yarn is like this. So I'm going to use a 5.5. It just helps me. Anybody else would get probably the same result with just a 5mm hook. All right, so I'm going to start with blue. I'm going to grab the end of it and just let it fall off the side. It's really not that hard to get tangled, but since they're so short, it's easy to push the knots lower. So I'm going to start with a double magic circle. So for double magic circle, I go from the back to the front, and I'm going to wrap it around my fingers 3 times. I teach a crochet club at school, and I teach 3rd and 4th graders how to crochet. And so the best way for them to understand this is to just use terms they understand. So we go underneath those first 2 loops, and then we grab that 3rd loop, and we pull it back like a bow and arrow. Right? They understand that. Pull it back like a bow and arrow. And then you scoop like it's ice cream. Okay? Kids understand scooping ice cream. All right, and then this string that's by our ring finger goes to the working yarn. We're just going to chain 1. Okay, looks just like this. Okay, so we have a double loop here in the middle. It just makes it more secure. We could just tie it off with a knot in the middle instead of weaving in all those ends, which would be a nightmare if we use the double. The double won't come undone. All right, so into that magic circle, I'm going to do a half double crochet. Okay, again, this is like flows of the 1 power, weaving several threads at once. Push the blue off to the side. Okay, my next color is going to be green. going to attach the green to my hook with a slip knot. I'm going to slip stitch onto the magic circle. And I'm going to do a half double crochet into the magic circle with the green. You can pull this tail tight. And I'm going to slide the green next to the blue. Okay, and then for this, we're going to do the first row and the second row simultaneously. It's like a staircase. So I'm building row 2 on top of row 1 as I go. So since I have row 1 with blue, I'm going to add row 2 with blue by doing a half double crochet increase into the green. If you've watched the new episode, oops, sorry, keep that down. Next color we're going to add is white. If you watched the latest episode that aired on Thursday, I just loved the sea folk. The pictures on screen were pretty dark, and it was hard to see the details of their costume and the chains that go from their nose to their ear, and their rank and all that stuff. But following the costume designer on Instagram, she posts a lot of just still pictures of the costumes, and they're so amazing. For the sea folk specifically, she talked about how she did different colors for the windfinder and different colors for the sail mistress. And the sail mistress is the captain of the ship, and then the windfinder is the channeler on the ship. And the windfinder was, I think it was shades of red. Sorry, I'm talking and not paying attention, so I'm doing this wrong. After white, we're going to add the brown. And then the sail mistress, the captain, was like shades of green, and the green represented courage, and they're just really amazing costumes. And she said that she used, recycled sari or Indian type fabrics to make them. So the design's just super elegant, really amazing. All the costumes this season have been so fantastic. I'm going to do my increase with the white and the brown. I've seen several patterns that look like Aiel Shufa that I'd be crazy interested in making. I haven't done it yet, but maybe that's something we can do soon. That would be a paid pattern though, so I don't think I could show a tutorial on how to do it, unfortunately. After brown, we'll do gray. Okay, we're going to slip stitch onto the magic circle. Oops. And then half double crochet into the magic circle. Grab the brown and do 2 half double crochets into that same stitch. So half double crochet increase into the gray. Just like a ladder, just building on top of each other. 1 and 2. Tighten those yarns just a little bit. Oops, that's not what I want to do. All right, now I'm going to add yellow. Scooch those all down. And of course, we do have several interviews with cast members of the show. You should definitely go check them out. The one with Zoe Robbins talked about the outfits, which one she liked the best, and definitely go listen to her talk about that, because all the costumes are just absolutely amazing. Okay, slip stitch onto the magic circle and half double crochet into the magic circle. That tight, slide it down, go back to the gray. If you'd like the written pattern for this, if reading it makes sense to your brain, you can get it on Ravelry. It is free. It is a pattern I wrote myself. It has some diagrams in that which help, I think, but there's also a more detailed video on YouTube tutorial, so you can look at that as well if this is too tricky to follow along. I am excited that Nynaeve and Elaine, Matt, and Min are in Kenchico. It looks interesting, just the little bits we've seen of it, with Leandrin going and taking over the house where she was basically, kidnapped and kept as a slave prisoner. Just how dark and gritty it is. So it's just really different from some of the other locations we've already seen. Right, I'm going to tighten off this magic circle. So I squish all my threads together. And I find the tail of the blue, which is what I started with. Okay, and I'm going to pull the tail to see which one of those loops moves. Okay, it's this one. So I pull that in the opposite direction to close that first loop. And pull the tail to close the second loop. And now I'm going to finish up the red row 2 by doing an increase in the first blue stitch. I can grab the red, and there we go. Increase in that first one. All right, and that's the end of round 1 and round 2. A little bit complicated, but worth it, because once you get past that, then it's easy breezy until we get to the hair tie. But that swirl, I'm just in love with it. This is just fascinates me with how cool it is. I just absolutely love that swirl design. Right, we're moving on to round 3. And then, so for this one, I'm going to do a single crochet, a half double crochet in the first stitch, and then a half double crochet increase in the next stitch. One of the things I talked about with Tom, who you might see on a lot of the live streams Dragonmount does, I think he's pretty much in every single one, is we talked about giving away the things I'm making on Dragonmount DIY to our Patreon subscribers. So like we'd have like a monthly raffle or something, and the winner would get whatever it is I made that month. So for example, last month we did the flame in the fang. So potentially 2 winners. This month we're doing these Bun Huggers, so we could do that. So that's something that sounds kind of fun. It's in the works. We're talking about it. And I was thinking for next time, since season 3 just came out, I did watch season 1 again, and in episode 7, where we get that flashback to Luce Theron, and he's talking with Leandra. I can't remember what her name is. The Tamerlane, and they're discussing, sealing up the boar. Luce Theron has a really cool bead embroidered dragon on his shirt. And I haven't done much embroidery, but I think that would be something really fun to try. So that's something in the works soon that I would like to do. Another thing that sounds kind of fun is, if you're a child of the 80s like I am, those bead, like the lizard beads, where you just put the beads through a string in a specific pattern, and it's really cute. I would love to try that as well, to make a dragon, like the dragon chapter symbol that we see. I think that would be really cool too. So I'd like to do some knot crochet ones eventually. It's just crochet is so much fun for me. I just really enjoy doing these crochet patterns. So, but I'll try to mix it up as best I can. We're also open to the idea of other Dragonmount content creators sharing some of their crafty projects, if anyone is interested. All right, so there is our row 3. We've got one of each in our first row, 2 of each in our second row, and then 3 of each in our third row. Okay, and now from here, we're just going to do 3 half double crochets in each stitch around. Since I ended in yellow and it's already on my hook, I'm going to start with yellow, but really you could pull it out and go to any of the colors you want. Really doesn't matter. So we're going to do a half double crochet in each stitch around for the next 3 rounds. Okay, this gives you that little bit of height. Trap your hair inside. Okay, this is perfect for my sized buns, but you could make it bigger. You could even make it smaller if you're doing it for a little kid, I suppose. So it is really customizable. Just continue the increase. So there would be 4 of each color in the next row if we were making it bigger. Or just do more rows of just 1 half double crochet in each stitch around to make it longer. So wider and longer, it's up to you how big you want to make this. So as I said earlier, I do teach elementary school. I am a 4th grade math teacher. And so, it just goes with the territory of being an elementary school teacher where your wardrobe is, a little eccentric. And so I do like wearing these little huggers to match specific outfits. So for example, I did one on Groundhog Day. That was a little groundhog sticking its head out of a hole. On one of the buns, and then the other bun was just the groundhog butt sticking up as it was diving back down, and it was so cute, and the kids really loved it. So I enjoy making these things because it makes me a little bit, eccentric, memorable. Maybe is the word I'm looking for. Like the kids will remember. Oh yeah, remember a crazy 4th grade math teacher? She was so crazy. So there are several other designs I'm working on with these. One of them, actually, I'm super excited about is a soot sprite from Spirited Away or My Neighbor Totoro. So it would just be all black, which would be hard to do a tutorial on because black yarn is just so difficult to work with. But he's got the flaily arms and legs, and will hold like the little star bead. And just have the big eyes. So I'm really excited to do that because I just bought a soot sprite dress from Box Lunch that's really cute, and I think a soot sprite bun hugger would be adorable. Right, so here we have the row 4. Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. Like every single time I look at it, I'm just amazed at how beautiful this is. It's so cool. All right, so now we're going to do 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. Okay, we ended with brown or the gray, so we're going to start the next round with gray. We're just going to circle 1 half double crochet in each stitch. 1 more time. And then 1 more time after that. So a total of 3 rows where we just do half double crochets. I'd also really like to do bun huggers that look like frogs. Come on, red one, get out of there. Since with the groundhog, I kind of figured out how to make like arms and legs or little snoots. So making one that looks like frogs would be good, but then also making one that just looks like a frog eye. So you would have 2 frog eyes over each bun, which sounds kind of cute. So yeah, the possibilities are endless with this design. It's just fun, easy thing. This one, again, it's complicated because of all the weaves, so many threads at a time. But if you're doing one with just 1 color, it's really not that tricky. The hardest part is crocheting around that hair tie. Okay, we're still just continuing 1 half double crochet in each stitch around. You know what? I bet you I could turn this into a granny square. That might be kind of fun. 1 double crochet all around. I also thought it would be kind of cool to do a gleeman's cloak with just patches, because you can make a granny square cardigan really easily. If you just did lots of different designs and colors and made it all wonky, I think that would pass for a gleeman's cloak. Would be a lot of fun. All right, and then brown's the last one of this row. Whoops, sorry, keep bumping you. 3 half double crochets. Okay, we're going to do 1 more row of half double crochets before we attach that hair tie. Okay, so after this round, we only have 2 more and then we're done. So it's really not a long project. It takes about 40 minutes. If I was focused on not talking, I bet you I could do it faster, but even still, just 40 minutes per bun hugger is not bad. I have not, so I do have a small Etsy shop where I sell the things I've already made. I don't do custom work typically. So I just have some pre-made things on there. But I am thinking of maybe trying to sell some of these because I just think they're so cute. And unfortunately, I'm not able to go to JordanCon this year. But maybe next year I'll be able to go and have a booth in the vendor's hall and sell some of my crochet wheel time inspired items. Okay, just half double crochets all the way around. If you just want to do traditional tie-dye, I don't even know what colors you use for tie-dye. I'm honestly not a big fan of tie-dye. So I am wearing my tie-dye shirt. I don't know if you can see it, but this is the one tie-dye shirt I have. And I bought it in a mystery pack from Bean Goods, which is a store that sells dachshund-themed clothing and apparel. And so it was a mystery bag, which is why it's tie-dye. It's the only reason why I would ever get a tie-dye shirt. I just dislike tie-dye. But anyway, if you just want to do typical tie-dye, you don't need to do the colors of the ajah. And it would still just be really cool, the really cool swirl. Okay, it looks like white's going to be our last color of this row. So just 3 half double crochets. And we're done. Okay. So there we go. That's our top. Kind of sits flat once we're all done. And then we have the side, which is going to be this part right here. Gives it a little bit of height. Fit all your hair inside. Okay, and now we're going to move on to the hair tie. That's that scrunchy part right there that's going to keep it on your bun. If you just place it over, they fall off, unfortunately. So you do need that extra little bit of elastic to hold it in place. All right, so for attaching the hair tie, this is the second hardest part. Oh, I didn't tie up my weaves yet. Sorry, let's do that. I'm so used to having them all there that doesn't bother me. All right, so let's tie off these ends. So these are all the tails of the yarns we had. Start by just pulling them tight to make sure our slip stitches are secure on that magic circle. Okay, and then we just want to tie these in a knot all together. Nothing fancy. We don't need to weave them all in. You can take this shortcut. If you wanted to use like a hot glue gun to glue them all together, that would be fine too. Since it's just touching your hair, it shouldn't bother anything. Okay, so I'm going to just pull it super tight against that top, and then I can trim those off. Okay, and that just sits inside, nice and easy. No one knows it's there. Okay, you can't even tell. A little top knot. All right, so now that we got that there, we can move on to adding the hair tie. Right, so for adding the hair tie, we're just going to put it up against the stitches. So when we go through the stitch, we also go through the hair tie. You're just crocheting around it. So if you ever crochet and carry colors, it's the same thing. Okay, so for this row, we're just doing single crochets only. We're just going to go in, grab the yarn, come out, do a single crochet. It just makes the elastic a little bit more secure. It's not going to be bumping up and down if we did it in a double crochet or half double crochet. Okay, done with the white. Let's move on to the brown. Single crochet around the hair tie. Single crochet around the hair tie. And one more single crochet around that hair tie. Okay, we're almost all done. All right, next we're going to do single crochets all the way around with the gray. Make sure we're going through the hair tie as well. Move it on to the yellow. Okay, and we can pull that elastic, get it out, make it a little bit easier to do this part. Kind of like if you're sewing with elastic, if you've ever done that, it's the same thing. You just have to pull it tight when you're sewing it to the fabric to make sure it stays all tight at the end. Okay, yellow. Let's move on to the red. Oops. We definitely want our stitches to be outside the hair tie. The hair tie needs to be on the inside. It would look weird if it was on the outside. All right, stretch out that elastic. Okay, single crochet, and one more single crochet. Okay, now for the blue, stretch out that elastic again, single crochet, blue, single crochet with the blue, and single crochet with the blue. Okay, last color of this round is the green. So we're going to do 3 single crochets into those white stitches with the green, making sure we go through the hair tie as well. 1, 2, and 3. All right. Go. It looks a little lumpy, but it's okay. The stitches need to settle. All right, so there you go. We've got the circle part. We've got the height. So now all we need to do is do the brim. Okay, so the brim is this piece right here. It just helps with grabbing it and putting it on the hair, I think. If you didn't want it, you could do it like that, I suppose. But I think it's extra cute, and it gives, you know, a little bit more to the swirl. You can see the brown goes all the way, actually, all the way over here. All right, so we're going to start with green. We're almost cut off the green. We're going to chain 2. And now since we're doing the brim, just like any crochet hat or something, we're going to do the front loop only. Okay, so we're going to do a double crochet in the front loop of that same stitch. Okay, and then a front loop, double crochet in the next stitch. Front loop, double crochet in the next stitch. And then a front loop, double crochet in the next stitch. Okay, so 4 total front loop double crochets with green. Okay, we're going to move on to the white. It's twisted. Okay, we're going to double crochet. We're going to do a front loop double crochet in that same stitch, round stitch right there. All right, the green's kind of in the way, but we can cut it off in just 1 second. There. Double crochet in the front loop of that round stitch. Double crochet in the front loop of that round stitch. And double crochet in the front loop of that last round stitch. Right, now that we have the whites done, we can slip stitch the green to the white and be done with it. So we're just going to slip stitch in that first white stitch, chain 2, and cut the yarn. You pull it through, and then you can just slide that knot as close to the brim as you can. You can find that perfect spot where it'll slide. And it's just a nice finish. Super tight. It's not going to come undone. Oh, and then we can get rid of the green. So here's the green I had left over. Not very much. So again, not much waste with this. If you measure about 2 arms lengths and a little bit more. So a little bit more than 2 yards-ish. Goodness. Okay, so we're going to chain 2 with the brown. And we're going to front loop double crochet in that same stitch. Okay, front loop double crochet in the next stitch. Front loop double crochet in the next stitch. And then front loop double crochet in the last gray stitch. Okay, beautiful. We're done with the white. You can slip stitch to the brown, fasten that off. Chain 2, cut the yarn, pull it through, and then slide that knot on down. Okay, let's move on to the gray. Okay, we're going to front loop double crochet in that first yellow, or that same stitch. Okay, front loop double crochet in the next stitch. Front loop double crochet in the next stitch. And then front loop double crochet in that last yellow stitch. Okay, we're done with the brown, so let's fasten off the brown. So slip stitch to that first gray stitch. Okay, and then chain 2. Pull it through, and then just slide that knot as close to that as you can. Okay, here's what I had left of the white. And then here's what I had left of the brown. Okay, so just a little bit extra. Move on to the yellow. We are almost all done. We're going to chain 2. I'm going to double crochet in that same red stitch in that front loop only. Okay, front loop only double crochet in the next red stitch. Front loop only double crochet in the next red stitch. And then front loop only double crochet in that last red stitch. Okay, we're done with the gray. We can tie it off. Slip stitch into that first yellow stitch. Chain 2. And cut the yarn. And here's the amount of gray I had left. Not very much at all for that one. Oops, sorry. Let's move on to the red. Source loop. There it is. So one thing I'm excited about with the show is, Min seeing the viewing of Matt hanging, which obviously is not a good thing that Matt's hanging, but, he was in front of that red door frame. So we saw it in the tower, and so I was really hoping he'd stumble upon it there, but that didn't happen. But we know there's another one in tier, so since they're flip-flopping the storylines of going to the waist first before going to the stone tier with Rand, it seems to make sense that they're going to find some things of the power in tier. I mean, that were in tier in Tanchico instead. So I'm hoping that's going to come up soon, because that is one of the best things about Matt. He gets so much cooler when he goes through that door frame. Okay, we're going to double crochet in that same green stitch. Front loop only, double crochet in the next green stitch. Front loop only, double crochet in the next green stitch. And then front loop only, double crochet in that last green stitch. Okay, we can tie off the blue, slip stitch to that first green stitch, chain 2, and cut the yarn. Okay, now we go back and finish the red. Slip stitch the first blue stitch, chain 2, cut the yarn, and pull it through. All right, and I had just a little bit left of each of those, very little of the yellow, it looks like. And this is all really pretty. They have a big jumble of Aes Sedai color threads. Very nice. I don't know. I have to think of something I can do with them. But maybe not. All right, last thing we want to do is weave in those threads, the tails. So do that just real quick before we sign off. So again, I'm not quite sure what we're going to do next week. Or sorry, not next week, next month. I would like to do some dragon related bead work, whether it's embroidery with beads or if it's building beads like the 80s lizard bead keychain things we used to make. I'm seeing those are coming back in crochet. A lot of people are crocheting those and they're super cute. So we could do one with beads and then we could do one with crochet. That would be fun. And make sure I loop it underneath that hair tie just to make sure it's going to be far in there. But that double knot keeps it secure. We're just weaving it to get rid of it, not weaving it to secure it. It's already secured. When the first season aired and Steppen, the warder who was his Aes Sedai died, he was praying to ward off the Forsaken with those Forsaken statues. And I did make those out of air dried clay, which was a lot of fun, but they turned out so awful because I don't usually sculpt. So my sculpting skills are a little rusty, but it was really fun to do and it turned out pretty awful, but still pretty fun to have. I did the one that looks like he's holding a guitar. I'm hoping it's Osmodian. We haven't had confirmation. Kathy Campbell, when she talked with Rafe Judkins, the showrunner, had a chance to ask, and it didn't happen. And Rafe was, kind of egging us on a little bit, I think. Like, oh, nobody asked. I would have answered. Nobody asked. So that's kind of funny. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it's going to be Osmodian. It's got to be Osmodian. If it's not, I'm going to be sad. And then I did the one that looks like a tiger, which we kind of assumed was Ishamael in his Baalzamon form. So maybe working with some of those would be fun too. The amount of crafts we can do is endless, but I do want to try to do some variety and not just crochet every single day, even though that's my hyperfixation right now is just crochet. But all crafts are fun. And it's fun to go outside your comfort zone sometimes. Underneath the hair tie. You cut off the white one. Next one's the green. So seems like we've been really quiet today. Thank you for those of you that stayed, hung out with me. Appreciate listening to my monologue because I'm more than happy to talk about crafts and Wheel of Time all on my own. As I said, I am a teacher. I teach 4th grade. So I am 100% able to talk for hours and hours and hours with very little participation from the audience because sometimes it gives that look in their eyes like, what? So I'm happy to just discuss with myself all the things I'm enjoying about crafts, the things I'm enjoying with the current season of the Wheel of Time TV show, which I've been really excited about. There hasn't been any word of season 4 yet, but I'm really hoping that the ratings are doing well enough that it'll be renewed for season 4, because I'd really like to see if they are going to flip-flop the Tyr and the Aiel waist storyline. So would Tyr be the next season going and getting Kalendor maybe? That would be a lot of fun. Okay, last one. We're going to weave that through the red stitches. Come on. And then under those other red stitches, and then under the hair tie. Here we go. Cut it, and we are 100% done with our bun huggers. Okay, since space buns typically comes in 2s, we need 2 sets of them. So there we have it. We've got 2 really cute bun huggers. Add it to any outfit to get some casual cosplay in, or play around with the design. Crochet, typical tie-dye colors would be cute too. It's just so versatile. I just really enjoy this pattern. I think there's a lot I can do with it. So my brain is constantly thinking about different things I can do or different things that would be fun. You know how you get the bazillion million ideas, but sometimes it's harder to pull it off. All the ideas in my brain. But anyway, so that's it for today's live stream. So thank you so much for joining me. Hopefully you were able to follow along or at least make sense of the pattern and learn some new crochet skills if you were interested. You can get the written pattern for this on Ravelry. The links in the description. You can watch the YouTube video where I do a little bit more explaining, go a little bit slower if you want to try following along with that. Then definitely check out dragonmount.com. We've got lots of content. We've got lots of interesting interviews with cast members from the show. We've got interviews with other people in the fandom. We've got podcasts talking about the show. We've got recaps. We've got lots of different discussions. You can join in, talk about whatever you want Wheel of Time related. We are super happy to talk about it. Just fills our buckets, makes us happy when we have other people to talk about our favorite thing with. So please go to dragonmount.com. You can join us on Patreon. Have a potential of winning something like this if we decide we are going to raffle them to our Patreon members. And then definitely check out my Etsy store if you're interested, because I might be adding some of these sometime soon. So thanks for joining me. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you next time. How do I end?